Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto Was a Perfect Experiment. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new series of What If Naruto Went to the Past and fell in love with female Madara Uchiha, and enjoy that guys. And also, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over in the making, which I do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, we'll need to begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, everyone was pushing themselves hard to get ready for the month of training that they had. Sakura on the other hand, even though she didn't pass, she was still trained as she was surely gonna make sure something like this never happened again. The next time around she was gonna make tuning. As for our blonde hero, while everyone else was training, he was just waking up. By the end of the month, as he was confused where he was, Jiraiya woke up as well, as they were both confused as you remember a circus. They couldn't remember much more, as they saw the circus girls in the hotel that they rented. As Jiraiya hoped that he was the one that paid for this luxurious hotel, because he rented the master suite. As they made their way outside, as a girl rushed up Naruto and hugged him, as she told him that her father was in town, and he would very much like to meet Naruto. As she told him that she was gonna get her father. As Naruto told Jiraiya to run after she was gone, as Jiraiya ran following the blonde's words, as he wasn't sure where they were running, while Naruto had no idea who that girl was. So with that, they made their way back to Konoha, as they were somewhere in the Fire Country. Arrived in the village, Hiruzen was angry. He was pissed off. As he then went on to explain what happened, it turns out that the circus had this strange elixir that was said to put anyone out of commission with just a tiny sip, and Naruto and Jiraiya had drank a bottle worth. So for the entire month, they threatened the village. They fought his envoys. They threatened to burn everything down if he did not make a day of topless Mondays. Hiruzen used his crystal ball to watch them. As he watched as they went on with their foolishness, at least they didn't cause any more problems, or he was gonna go there and drag them back himself. After talking to the circus owner, he realized it would be cutting away right amongst the end of June exams. As Naruto had to get ready, it turns out that he pissed Sakura off as well, and many more people. As Uncle was angry that he left her and did not bring her in the bender. As he apologized, as they saw Kurenai, but she did not meet Naruto's gaze. She actually turned and walked away, as her face was a bit red. As Naruto did not remember what he did, perhaps he did something. As they finally arrived at Chunin exams, as they saw all the dignitaries, all the people there, many people argued their making bets. As the fight stone below started to conquer, as Kurosaki thought that Akisaki would beat Lee, but once Lee removed his restraints, well, he defeated Akisaki, although Naruto had to say Akisaki was incredibly strong. As Naruto made a deal with Kurosaki, that he would give her the High notes. Or, well, if he lost, he would give her, but if she lost, she would give him a kiss. But even when the match was over and Akisaki lost, she did not repay him that kiss. And he told her that he could be rather petty at times. As they made their way down there, it was time for them to fight. As this was a fight that was worth seeing after all. She was a granddaughter of the Tishikage, and Naruto was a son of Minato Namikaze. But Naruto was kind of pissed off that she went back on their deal. And not to mention, he felt like he was gonna show off a bit, as he had told Hiruzen when they first met that he could transform, and he decided to break one of those limitations, as he started to change a heat Even the ninjas that were outside the village that were gonna attack you could feel the heat. An unprecedented heat that was so insane it spread through the entire village. As people started to sweat, Kurosaki had to step back away from him as she wondered what the hell was going on. She performed her earth technique, but Naruto used fire to completely disintegrate all the earth spikes that came towards him with nothing but ease. It seemed like his whole body was radiating nothing but pure, unbridled fire. As everyone watched him, his face started to peel off. So yeah guys, those basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode? Begin right away. The Land of Fire was a usual hot place. After all, it was called the Land of Fire for a reason. Well, the weather was not like Kumo up in the mountains where there was cool air all around, or Kiri that was saturated with water. Although it was not the hottest though, the desert was the hottest, as the sand ninjas were used to that climate over there. But right now in Konoha, this heat was not normal at all, and everyone knew that. As everyone was sweating, Jonins, Chunins, Orochimaru under his veil watching Naruto keenly. It seems like he was not going to pull his punches for this battle, it seems. As Hiruzen was also sweating, the representative from the stone, and the representative from Kumo was also sweating as well, as they wonder what is this boy? Yujito narrowed her eyes. She's never seen him done something like this before. Well, no one has. As in the arena, Genma had to make his distance, as the place was getting a bit too hot for his liking, and he wasn't sure how much more Naruto was going to crank it up, as the place was getting really humid. That was everyone's experience, so imagine Kurosaki. She was drenched from head to toe, as she looked towards the beam in front of her. "What are you?" she said. He was different. His entire body seemed to have bulked up, muscles that just appeared out of nowhere. It seems like he's been suppressing himself the entire time, and she was surprised by that a lot. But that was not the main difference though. His face. Half of his face was completely different. Where there was unblemished skin, there was nothing but scales. Strange scales. And where these strange scales were, his right eye was green with a slit in it. And his forehead, there was a horn. A strange greenish horn pointing outwards. From his right shoulder running down, there was scales as she could see it coming down from his neck going down. She wasn't sure how far it stopped, but judging that his boots were torn and claws were coming out instead of his usual toes, she could imagine it went all the way down. As Naruto sighed, "And I really like those boots," he said. As he stomped on the ground, they were incinerated into dust. But there was no helping it now. It was then that she saw his feet. It looked like some kind of reptile's feet, looking like it was able to rip flesh easily. Not just that, the scales, green scales, were all over his right side, while his left side was completely unblemished. "Oh yes, you asked me a question," said Naruto. "What am I?" "Isn't it simple?" As he chuckled in a rather humor-filled tone. She was actually really curious. Some sort of lizard? Some deformed reptile? As Naruto lowered his head, and he started to chuckle, but she noticed steam was coming from his body. "Nah, bitch," he said. "I'm a dragon," as he opened his mouth. She had to move as a flame exploded from his mouth. He didn't wave any hand signs or anything. The flame just exploded outward. As she watched as it hit the wall, it melted through, creating a gaping hole. As she felt her body tingling, despite not being touched, her body was shaking, and she could see how close she was to death a moment ago. His flames were not ordinary. They were not ordinary one bit. She looked around as he was gone. Were they? As she felt it behind her, she spun with a kunai. As she slammed it right in his palm, but his scaly hand came up, and the kunai cracked and broke, shocking her and almost everyone else to how durable his scales were. As Orochimaru watched the entire thing with glee, If they only knew that this was just one of his 4 transformations. As he found it rather amusing seeing how shocked everyone is. But Naruto was still playing with the girl. Looked like he didn't intend to kill her. But that smirk. Orochimaru knew that smirk. He was gonna show off. And that meant more than likely she was gonna get hurt. Really badly. He should know that look all too well now, after all. He's seen it many times before. He should begin the invasion soon. But he would like to see this match. After this, the invasion would begin. He glanced towards where the envoy was. It was Kabuto. As he turned his head back towards the fight, Makoto, the representative of the stone, watched as Kurosaki launched herself away. He gritted his teeth. This boy was not what he expected to be. Darui narrowed his eyes. Did the boy say that he was a dragon? As Yujito was watching Naruto keenly, he was a lot stronger than before. As she placed hand to her face, remembering where he hit her, and his hand was so powerful, and he seemed to be out of it with just a body movement, a spasm, a reaction for a shinobi, but only elite of the elite shinobis had that. But this boy, he was always unique from the moment she met him. Meanwhile, what the hell, said Ino as she watched, as she saw Sakura's eyes glue on the fight. So she turned her head back. Up in the booth, Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Naruto has been keeping this from them the entire time. This newfound power, as Sasuke wiped his forehead, wiping away the sweat. And this heat, flames hotter than any Uchiha could produce. He's never felt a Uchiha fire style heat so much before. Back down the arena, as Kurosaki was panting already. The heat was doing something. She could not use any water type jutsus here, as the place would slowly just take away that advantage. So she went for her earth basic type as she flashed Yuhan sign. Earth style as she slammed both hands on the ground. Spike graveyard, she said. As Naruto looked down, hundreds of spikes erupted from the ground. Everyone watched with gasp as the spikes ripped upwards. To their surprise though, none of them pierced Naruto. As he leaned on his right, his hands and sides were ripped into by the spikes, but they could not pierce his scaly skin. You're gonna need something much more tougher than that to hurt me, darling, said Naruto, as he flipped over and landed. He didn't move. She felt the hair in the back of her neck stand up, as she felt the hand rest on her shoulder. Her eyes widened as she slowly turned her head towards him. She couldn't believe it, as he was resting right beside her. But she was not getting burned. Thought we would have a conversation, said Naruto. So, ready to give me that kiss? Out of all the things that she expected to say, that was not the one. She gripped her kunai, as this time she aimed towards his left side as she spun, moving around him as she tried to dive for his eye to blind him, to take his senses out of the equation. But Naruto reached up and grabbed her hand. Her hand struggled to get out of his grasp as she pushed and applied more pressure, but she could not pass him. She encased her right hand with chakra as she pointed forward before stabbing it right towards his chest. As Naruto flipped her with one hand, her eyes went wide as she was upside down. And then he brought her down. Blam! She cried out in pain as her back connected with the hard floor. With so much force, the ground dented as Naruto threw her like a piece of rag. But the amount of strength that he put behind it was nothing normal. She broke right in the wall before collapsing on the ground as she spat up blood. She looked up with a shocked expression on her face and she blinked. But the moment she blinked, she found herself staring into one green eye and a normal blue eye. As Naruto was sitting down in front of her, looking her directly in the face, the audience couldn't believe what they were seeing as he looked back to the spot where he was. When did he move? As Naruto reached out and pecked her in the face, before he smacked her so hard, she was thrown, crashing on the ground several feet. She picked herself up as she threw an explosive tag towards him as it exploded right in his face. As the smoke surrounded his face, everyone waiting for him to fall. But to their surprise, he started to inhale the smoke before he spewed back out. But the smoke wasn't the only thing that came out. A wave of hot flames followed behind it that scorched the ground. She flashed to one side, Earth style, Earth wall as she slammed her hand down. She pushed so much of her chakra As she started to feel her skin burning, she cried out in pain, but yet she held the earth wall up. By the time it was done, she was panting in exhaustion as her arms were burned to the side. She was on her last leg. She was already having a hard time breathing. Not used to these kind of conditions, the heat was just something else. Maybe, if she had more years of experience, she would have been able to filter it out, using her chakra, but she was still young. As much as she bragged about her being, well, sophisticated for her age, she was just not ready to fight someone like him. Well, it wasn't her fault. Most people, when compared to him, are nothing. She could only muster out 2 more powerful attacks, and she knew how to hold him. As she rushed towards man through, 2 explosive tagging ear they went off. They caught his attention as she smiled. She then threw 2 at his feet. He did not move as they exploded beside him. She then threw one straight right in the smoke as it went through, hitting the wall. As he appeared behind her, she smirked as she flashed through hand sign. Lava release, quick lime congealing technique, as she spewed a white mass on his body. As Naruto stood there, allowing himself to get covered by her technique, he did not move an inch. Once it was about up to his neck, she stopped. As Naruto found himself unable to move, it seems. As she looked towards him with a smirk, as everyone thought that it was over, as she raised a kunai. As Mikado, up in the Kage's boots, smiled. "It's over," he said. "I don't think so," said Darui. As he's been watching the fight, Darui noticed something. That boy is unfazed. He's not worried. He actually let himself get captured. With the speed that he's moving at, he could have dodged it easily. If anything, he seemed rather amused. That was the thought of many experienced Jonin as they watched the scene. Kurosaki, on the other hand, stepped forward as she pointed the kunai directly towards his forehead that was not covered by the scales. As Uncle narrowed her eyes, was he really stuck? "I would say it's a pleasure, but it hasn't been," she said, as she tossed the kunai as it stuck right in his head. As Genma was shocked, he thought that Naruto would break free given from what he was shown earlier. He didn't thought that the match was over, and plus Naruto did not call out, saying that he gave up, and he did not jump in. Everyone watched as they waited to see if something was gonna happen, but nothing did. As 5 seconds passed, then turned to 10. As Genma made his way down, as he saw Naruto head leaning back. Was the boy really dead? As Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, Orochimaru watched the scene with nothing but amusement on his face. It was then that a hand broke right through the quick lime, tearing it apart. Something that was to hold him down like concrete, yet he ripped through it. Kurosaki stepped back. Genma returned back to his position. As Naruto lowered his head, he reached out and pulled the kunai. That didn't seem to go too far. She narrowed her eyes. She threw it directly at his skull. What the hell just happened? As he crushed it in his scaly palm. As she watched as he exhaled, steam released from his mouth. He was no longer smiling. She stepped a foot back as she saw him look up towards her, his eyes looking so angry. "You know, I would understand if you want to kill me. After all, we aren't exactly friends, and given what my father did to your village. But to say that meeting me was not a wonderful experience of your life, well, I can't let that slide." Was she hearing correctly? Was he upset because she did not like meeting him? She could not get her temper back as her throat was grabbed. She tried to say something, but she could not, as Naruto slammed her into the ground. Before he picked her up, his heel slamming right into her stomach, blood exploded out of her mouth. 5 balls of flames appeared on his fingertips. As he threw them all, they viciously slammed into her body, like a tiny bomb blowing when they did. As she was thrown like a rag doll, slamming and spreading wide on the wall. As blood leaked from her mouth, she was barely conscious as Naruto held his hand up. Orochimaru watched as a ball of energy arrived as he saw Naruto diving in his scorch release. It grew to the size of a miniature house, shocking everyone at display of power. Was he gonna throw that thing? As the people in the stand started to get worried, wouldn't that affect them? As Hiruzen watched as Naruto shrunk the ball, Jinma realized that the girl could not call out to him because of her throat, as she was giving him a pleading gaze. Kurosaki didn't want to die. She had to become Tishikage. She could not die here. And if she could give up rather than dying, she preferred to give up. He was not joking anymore. The smile was gone. There was a look on his face that terrified her. A slanted look. As she watches the ball compress, Jinma flashed in front of Naruto, not too close though. "It's over, Naruto," he said. As Naruto one green eye landed on him, Jinma gulped a bit as he looked towards a swirling ball of energy that contained so much chakra, as he could feel the amount of chakra that Naruto pumped into it. And it was an average Jonin worth of chakra. His Jonin worth of chakra that wasn't supposed to be possible. But yet there it was, all out for everyone to see. He watches the ball slowly shrunk and shrunk until it dissipated. Kurosaki fell face first. As her body finally gave out, knowing that she was going to die, she collapsed unconscious. Jinma watches all the scales on Naruto's face start to burn away into ashes, leaving a pink skin underneath, which slowly started to heal over and return back to normal. He was able to channel his flames quite well, seeing that his shirt and pants was not burned off halfway. The medics quickly appeared in the field, as Kurosaki was out as they took her. Makoto watched. Kurosaki and Akisaki was out. The stone had no chance of winning. They failed. As Naruto's eyes snapped towards Orochimaru, who was in the Kazekage outfit. As Orochimaru smirked as he gave the signal, feathers started to fall over Konoha. As Naruto stood in the arena, chaos ensued. Giant snakes broke through the walls. Sound and sand shinobi started to pour within the village. Naruto watched as he saw Kankuro and Temari rush, jumping over the walls as they made their way towards the forest. He saw Sakura get up and Sasuke came out of the box. So did every other ninja, as chaos ensued. He watches Samui re-link with Yujito and the others as they went straight towards the Kage's boots, where an explosion went off, filling it with smoke. As Naruto watches 4 individuals landed, 2 in the center of the academy, the tower, and 4 landed on each side, as they create a purple barrier sealing the Hokage and Orochimaru within. As Naruto watched everything unfold around him, as he just stood there, before he heard someone shouting out his name. As he turned his head to see Sakura. "Naruto, what are you doing just standing there?" she said. As she saw that he was unresponsive since the whole thing went off, as she wondered if he was caught on the illusion, but that was not possible. It was Naruto after all. His gaze did not turn towards her, instead, he just looked up to the heavens. As he did not move, he just stood there. She had to move as she was attacked by a Sound Ninja. As Kakashi moved in and took care of the Sound Ninja rather easily, she jumped down as she rushed straight towards Naruto, ignoring Kakashi. They could really use Naruto to help here. He would be a big decisive change in this, but yet he was not moving. As she finally reached him, the moment she did, she started to slow down. Something was wrong. "Naruto?" she said. He was not responding or saying anything to her. He just stood there unmoving. As she reached him, as she reached out to touch him, he grabbed her hand. "Leave," he said. She was confused. "We need your help. These people are..." "I said leave!" His tone left no word for arguing, and look in his eyes, it scared her a bit. She backed away from him, confused what was going on. As she realized that the civilians need to get to safety, she was about to jump off until she was surrounded by 3 Sound Ninjas. As Naruto's back was turned, Sakura pulled out a kunai as one of the men laughed. He was a Jonin, it seems. He was quite a bit taller than her, as he looked down towards her. "Little miss want to fight, huh?" As the man moved forward, "You know, someone like you will sell for a lot of money on the black market." I know a nice, rich fat slumlord who is looking for some good little sleeves, he said, as Sakura snarled in disgust at the man, as she gripped the kunai tighter, as the three of them surrounded her. Leave her alone, said Naruto. As one of them turned, his head was instantly removed. As it fell, and so did his body, the other two turned in shock. Naruto-sama, they said. We... Leave her alone. Yes, sir, as they jumped away instantly. Sakura looked towards Naruto as she saw him jump off, as she couldn't say anything to him. Naruto found himself in the forest. His hands were tied. If he protected Konoha and messed up the plants, Orochimaru would hurt him. Not physically, but it would hurt him because he had someone for him. Someone that Naruto could not save because of what Orochimaru did to her. The only person that helped him through the darkest moments of his life. And if he were to end this invasion, which he could, single-handedly if he must say, things wouldn't go so good. And if Orochimaru killed her, just to prove a point, well, he won't, because he knew that if you took everything away from someone, they will have nothing to live for. Orochimaru did not know about Naruto's fifth transformation. It was a result of him dying 10 times, meeting the Shinigami himself. That is how he got the Blade of Death. There was a lot of meeting between him and the Shinigami. The Shinigami wanted to take his life, but things did not work out that way instead. Well, Naruto survived. But there was something that came back with him. It was not him alone. A part of him had died. He did not return completely, because if he did, he wouldn't have this fifth transformation that turned him into something that even scared him sometimes, because the more he used it, the more it ate away at his soul. And if he did it too much, he wouldn't have anything left. Orochimaru didn't know about that, and Naruto was planning to use it as a trump card. But he could not save her. No matter what he did done so, no one, no medic, no doctor could stop what Orochimaru did to her. It wasn't affecting her physically, but there was something in her system that Orochimaru can control. And if he decides to hurt her, he can. And not even Naruto could save her. And that really bothers him. Orochimaru had so much power over him, and it was annoying. But he could not kill the man, because he risked endangering her life. Orochimaru told him once if he were to die by his hands, he would make sure that he took everything away from him when he was dying. So that is the only reason why Naruto could not outright kill him, because he was more than strong enough to do so by now. Orochimaru had created him for the main reason of killing the Akatsuki, but he created something that he could not control. But he found a way to control him by using her. As Naruto slammed his fist into a tree, tearing it down, as he let out a scream, more like a roar from the depths of his stomach, that trembled through the village. Everyone paused for a moment, wondering what the hell was that. As Naruto kept on walking, and he found a group, a sand group. As Naruto realized that Gaara was amongst them, his two siblings standing there. As he tilted his head in confusion, "What are you doing here?" said Kankuro. As Temari narrowed her eyes, remembering how strong this guy was, a wall of sand instantly shot towards Naruto, as it enveloped him and pulled him straight towards Gaara. "Uzumaki, I was hoping I could see you again. Kill you with my bare hands." The sand started to constrict and tighten, as everyone watched as the sand started to compress even more. But to Gaara's confusion, the sand was not crushing him like it did the others. Temari noticed Naruto's face was a metallic color. "What's going on?" "Kill him already, Gaara," said Kankuro. As they had to get Gaara to transform, that was their mission. But Gaara was not killing him. "Why won't you die, Uzumaki?" said Gaara. As Naruto tilted his head towards Gaara, he was one of the main parts of the plan. Stopping him from transforming would help the village, and would help a lot of people, and not show his involvement. As Naruto's body started to get moist, the sand started to drop off him as Gaara started to lose control. As Naruto's body slipped through the sand, his body was made up of water. What the hell? As Kankuro stepped back, Temari's eyes widening. How much things can this guy do? As Naruto moved forward, Gaara's sand shield came back up. This time, Naruto was not in the mood for playing. He could not allow Gaara to transform at any means necessary. A Rasengan formed in his arm as he drilled right through the attack. The Rasengan then exploded outwards, blowing Gaara back. Gaara smashed into a tree. He shook his head and got back up, but the moment he did, Naruto's fist buried in his face. Blood splattered all over the ground as Naruto's left hook came in. Blam! His right, blam! His left, bam! Naruto slammed his fist into Gaara's face viciously before choked, grabbing Gaara and smashing him into the ground. Temari pulled out her fan as she moved forward, as Kankuro moved forward as well. Red chakra erupted around Naruto as a single tail extended from him and whack the both of them in the face, throwing them as they crashed to the side. As Naruto's nails extended and stabbed into Gaara's stomach, the strange metallic color once again, as Gaara cried out as he felt his chakra feeling all messed up, as he couldn't control his sand, and his link with Shigaku was unstable, as Shigaku was cursing for Gaara to release his power, but he could not because of whatever Naruto was pumping into him. It was a poison. It was not one to kill, but one to completely eradicate your chakra system, and also going after Biju's chakra, as Naruto's poison was that lethal. The Biju's chakra was, well, deadly, but the quantity of poison Naruto was pumping into him was also messing with the Biju's chakra as well, as Gaara started to cough violently, the metallic silver color coming out of his mouth, as Naruto grabbed him and repeatedly bashed his skull in the ground, till the back of Gaara's head started to leak blood. Gaara's eyes were barely focused as Naruto ripped the gourd off his back before stomping into his stomach. Letting know some of his frustrations, Temari picked herself back up, a massive red mark on her cheek. She swinged her fan towards Naruto who was standing up, seeing that Gaara was lying down. Multiple winged blades slammed as they ripped his clothing, as they tear his flesh. As Naruto tilted his head back, a huge gash in his face. He vanished and appeared behind her as he grabbed her by the neck. "Sorry, I'm not in mood to play," he said. As he saw Kankuro getting up, Naruto threw her. Boom! She slammed into Kankuro as the both of them fell to the ground. Gaara coughed up some more as Naruto stomped into his face, appearing out of nowhere, as Gaara was trembling in fear as he saw those green eyes looking deep into his soul. "You rely too much on your sand," said Naruto, as he spoke to Gaara casually after just beating the living crap out of him. Gaara's sand was unable to work on him because of his saturated body. It was like his entire body was made out of water a moment ago. As Gaara spat up more blood, the silver metal coming out as well. "You will die, Uzumaki," Gaara said, choking on that silver thing, whatever it was. The poison was coursing through him a lot. As Naruto gripped Gaara by the face and placed a hand towards his chest, right where his heart was. "I could kill you right now," said Naruto. As Gaara's hands dropped to his side, unable to muster the strength anymore to keep them up. "Get it over with," he said, as Naruto looked in his eyes. "You've been through a lot," he said. For once, Naruto was dead serious. No smile was on his face as he just looked at Gaara. "So much, to the point that does drive you mad." "You know nothing," said Gaara as he clinged on to consciousness. As Naruto sat down beside him, as Gaara could not move his head or even turn his body. His body was broken. He was sure that several of his bones were broken. His jaw was broken badly. The back of his head was bleeding. But if he was not gonna receive any more punishment, he would live. But in the state that he was in, he could not defend himself against a genin right now. And he could not use his chakra at all. As Naruto simply sat there. Look at you. You're completely defenseless now. Without your mother going on in your head. Let me tell you something, Shikaku is a guy. I don't know why he's pretending to be your mother, said Naruto. As he tore Gaara's shirt to look at the seal. As Naruto saw how shabby the seal work was. He wasn't sure who did this, but they did not do a good job. He knew a lot about seal. It was a complex art, but it was taught to him. And given his perfect chakra control, he didn't have to use a brush or ink. As Naruto used his chakra, this is gonna hurt a lot, said Naruto. Gaara cried out as Naruto burned a sealing matrix onto the one that he currently had on. Temari and Kankuro got back up. Stop it, Temari screamed as she gripped her fan. Kankuro puppets moving towards Naruto as they moved to tear him right through, blades ejecting from their arms. As Naruto created 5 clones that moved forward to deal with them. While Gaara continued to scream as Temari tried to get close to them, but she could not because of the clones. They were forced to jump back as Naruto burned a seal onto Gaara's. Once he was done, he pumped his chakra in to activate it. Gaara released a gasp as his mind was clear. There was no voice. Nothing. What have you done to me, Uzumaki, he said. I've locked away Shikaku. He will no longer pester your mind. Usually, I would just kill you and get it over with. But there are several things why I don't want to kill you right now. One being, a group will come after you soon. And I intend to use you to kill them. But, the most important thing is, I promised someone that I will be the good guy for a change. So, I'll be good for your sake. I can see that you're not really a bad guy. You were just given a bad hand in life. I was as well, but I overcome it. And look at me now. The perfect being in the universe, said Naruto, with a cocky smile. As Gaara looked up towards him. You don't hear me complain, I'm also a Jinchuriki, Gaara. Well, my seal wasn't as shabby as yours, but still. And also, said Naruto, look at them. As Gaara still couldn't move properly. Oh yeah, said Naruto as he pulled Gaara's head up to show him his siblings. They're fighting with everything they got to save you. Even though you treat them like shit, said Naruto. It's good to have someone that actually cares about you. To love you no matter what you did. No matter what you've done. No matter how many you slaughter. No matter the horrible, decrepit things that you did. For your excitement. She will still love you. Gaara was confused. Oh, I'm getting sidetracked here, said Naruto as he picked himself up. His clones poofed away as Temari landed in front of him. She was about to swing her fan, but Naruto appeared and grabbed it. Will you stop this already, he said. Why should I? You've... As she glanced towards Gaara. Temari. Stop. As she was confused. What did you do? Kankuro. You too. As Kankuro was coming Naruto from left. Well, Naruto already saw him, so he wouldn't get close if Naruto wanted. As the both of them narrowed their eyes at Naruto. Go. If you don't leave now, you're going to be captured. Your family was tricked into this. Being used by Orochimaru. They narrowed their eyes in shock. What? Well, I'm sure you'll get that explanation once you get back home. But most likely your father is dead, said Naruto. As the 3 siblings were surprised at that. Shocked. No, go. If Konoha captured you, right now, it won't be good. You are the siblings of the Kazekage. Well, if they did capture you, I would make sure you're safe, said Naruto, as he gave Temari a wink. Now run along, said Naruto. Why? Said Temari. Why would you just help them and let them go like this? Trying to be a good person, but it's really hard. The itch to kill someone is ever there. I'm just afraid that one day I'll scratch it too much. Now go, before I change my mind. The 2 of them helped Gaara up, as Gaara glanced towards Naruto, before they made their way off. As they moved, Gaara felt himself being healed. rather quickly than usual, as Naruto had modified the seal quite well. Shikaku influence was no longer over him. Garou would soon find out that he was able to use the sand power, stronger than ever before. Well, he was too tired right now as he passed out, his body finally giving in to everything that happened to him so far. As Naruto stood there, it was then that he heard someone landed. What have you done? As Naruto slowly turned to see Kabuto. As Naruto's smile seemed to intensify. Ah, Kabuto, he said. You were told to not interfere. What have you done, said Kabuto. Orochimaru will not be pleased about this. You know what he will do when he's not pleased. I worry about her safety. As Naruto chuckled, what's so funny? Well, it's quite stupid of you to mention her, and even try to put a threat on her name, when you're out in the open alone. No one to protect you. Kabuto's hands instantly lit up with his scalpels. I'll bring you to Lord Orochimaru myself. As Naruto chuckled even more. You're kidding, right? Kabuto shot forward, tending to use Naruto's cockiness against him. He just wanted him to hold back for the slightest, and it was over as Kabuto came in swinging wildly as Naruto twisted and dodged all of the attacks. Kabuto, do you remember what I told you? Said Naruto. As Naruto left himself wide open, Kabuto could not slow down fast enough. Kabuto's hand slipped right through Naruto's stomach, tearing through it, burst into his back. Kabuto looked down in shock. What did you... As Naruto gripped his hand, Naruto reached out and grabbed the other one as he snapped it. He broke it so bad it leaned over, dropping. Kabuto cried out in pain. You're a slippery bastard. Good way to hold you in check, said Naruto. His skin then turned metallic, as his skin seemed hardened around Kabuto's hand. Kabuto tried to pull his hand back, but he could not, as Naruto spat blood in Kabuto's face from his hand driving right through him, almost blinding him in his left eye. Kabuto could not move his other arm. He brought his leg up, but it was too close as Naruto stomped right in his knee, shattering his kneecap. Naruto stomped in the other one as Kabuto cried out in pain. As Naruto's blade materialized in his hand, not the blade of death, he removed Kabuto's right hand completely from the shoulder. Kabuto gripped the stump as he cried out in pain, unable to move his other arm, or even run away. He didn't think that things would go like this. You didn't think I would kill you because you were Orochimaru's right-hand man. That I would not jeopardize her for your safety. But you should know, Orochimaru would never risk her life. He's leveraged for you. You're nothing but a lackey. You can be used, disposed. And another one is just around the corner. There is always Guren, Kimimaro, and so many others. You are nothing but a piece of common brat. A piece of tool that can be used at any time and discarded. Garbage. I told you what I would do to you, and I was not lying, said Naruto. You threatened someone I actually cared about, thinking that you had the galls to speak. Like you have any talk in this, any say in this. You know who I am and yet you still open your mouth calling her name. I've been trying to be a good guy so far for her sake, because of all the despicable things I've done, stained in blood and chaos. But for you, I guess I have to return back to my old ways, said Naruto. A twisted smile came on his lips, as Naruto stomped in Kabuto's face. Kabuto tried to get away as he tried to crawl, as Naruto laughed. Run, 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 he said. As he gripped Kabuto's leg, he then started to saw with his blade. Blood splashed over Naruto's face as he saw right through the bone. Kabuto cried out in pain as he tried anything desperately to get away, but nothing was working. Stop, Kabuto said. I can help you. I can help you free her. Oh? And pray tell how will you do that, said Naruto. There is a way. Lord Orochimaru, I was there when he created the parasite. I was there for it all. I watched it as he infused his blood into it, and his chakra, so I can help you. I can help you to free her. So please, Just don't kill me, and I'll... As Kabuto coughed up some more blood. If he didn't get mental attention soon, he will die. Oh. So you have that information in your head? Yes. And as long as you spare me, she will be all yours. And you can finally have your freedom along with her. We both know how much you love her. She's like a sister to you. And you would rather die than see anything happen to her. Fix me up, and I'll help you. We can find a cure for her. Stop Orochimaru together. And then you can go. As Naruto chuckled. Before he sliced Kabuto's left ear off, Kabuto screamed out. What are you doing? He said. I told you. Well, you were stupid enough to tell me where the information was. Now, as Naruto gripped Kabuto's throat before crushing his windpipe, as Kabuto gasped, unable to speak. I'll just get the information from your head. As a look of terror came in Kabuto's eyes, as Naruto grabbed his arm and saw it right off through the bone, blood splattering all over him. His smile got more wicked and wicked as he gripped, tearing the flesh. He melt the flesh of Kabuto's back, enjoying the screams muffled, the painful groan. When Kabuto was nothing but a mass of dying flesh, on his last breath, Naruto took off his head before sealing it away. He thought that Orochimaru was the only one there when he created that parasite. But now, he had the information to free her. And the snake could finally die once she was freed. Sealing Kabuto's head away inside his body, Naruto moved. As he noticed the purple barrier was gone. As he made his way towards the academy rooftop. As he saw Jiraiya standing there. As they were huddling around something. Hey, Perfect Sage, what's... As Naruto froze when he saw Hiruzen. Naruto, said Jiraiya. As Jiraiya noticed Naruto's state covered in blood, he must have been fought in the Sound and Sand Ninjas. As Naruto was drenched in it, from head to toe, the envoys looking at him like he was crazy. As he was covered in so much blood, what could he have been doing? As Naruto looked down towards the dead old man, who had a peaceful smile on his face even in death. As Naruto stooped down beside him. Don't worry, old man. He will die very soon, said Naruto to himself. Time skip. The funeral happened not too long after. As everyone was there, mourning for their fallen leader, Hiruzen served the title for the longest. And now he was gone. The village seemed to be in a damp mood. As Naruto stood on top of the monument, he hated himself for this, but as everyone was sad and feeling in pain, he did not feel nothing. It was because of his condition. The only person he cared for. He cared for her before he died 10 times. When he died 10 times on the table, something was taken away from him. After the 9th death, he came back and there was something missing from him. Missing from deep within him. And he was never normal again. As much as he tried to act like he actually cared about people, as Orochimaru said, he did not really care about anyone, except for one person. Perhaps it was because he cared about her before he died, but after he died and came back so much times, and came back with this new dark power that he didn't want to release, it changed him. He might act it. He might try to apologize in certain things, but it was not real. Even at the old man's funeral, while everyone was crying, sure, he was sad that the old man was dead, but a part of him, there was just nothing. Yes, he was sad that the old man would never be here again, but he wasn't grieving because he wasn't that torn up about it. It was just how he was at the moment. Not a physical thing. But after what he's been through, well, it gave him great power, but it took something away from him. He was sure that soon, Orochimaru would be calling for him. And he'll be leaving Konoha. There were certain things in Kabuta's head that he could not allow Konoha to see. Things that he did that Kabuto knew of. But the Yamanakas are not the only clan that were able to enter someone's mind. In fact, he knew of a young beautiful lady who was able to do the same thing. But he was gonna have to leave Konoha soon. He wasn't sure when he was gonna be back. He couldn't even inform anyone because they would want him to stay. And they would try to make him stay. After all, he was a Konoha shinobi. But he could not. He had things to do. And staying here was just gonna mess with his timing. As he picked himself up, Jiraiya arrived behind him. As Naruto glanced up towards the man, his face was stern. "Something on your mind," said Naruto. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new series of What If Naruto Fell in Love with female Madara over in the making 2, and I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the team family. And thank you for all of your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. But for now, see you guys soon. Peace.